Jace, how long are we talking? Oh, we still have time. I know that you're Christian, right? And you take inspiration from your faith. How does that help you,
Hmm.
like tran transpond that or transcend that into the to the your workout regime, to taking care of your body and so on? Isn't that
Hmm.
vanity? If you're reading the Bible and like in Christianity, everything is about the soul and very little about the body, which is kind of like a shell, a sinful shell, even.
Mm. It's a fair
Mm.
question. Actually, there's a number of things we can say about this. First, I was so fascinated with this. I wasn't a Christian originally. I was actually an atheist for most of my young adulthood, and so in coming to Christianity, it was important for me to wrestle through why would I spend time and energy exercising
Mm.
anyway, right? So that whole process actually led me to write a devotional. So I've written a 40-day devotional to help people work through this as well, on meditations that have come about in the last decade of my life on this subject. But but you said something there I think is important, and I'm not a theologian, so I might mess this up a little bit. But from a faith perspective, this idea that the spirit and the body are separate is not actually a Christian idea. There's actually a whole line of thinking called Gnosticism that started around the 200 or 300 AD, which, as a historian, you'll
I
appreciate.
actually gonna tell you a little secret. I believe myself I consider myself agnostic, and I know a lot
Not,
about
not
Gnosticism.
agnostic,
Not agnostic,
not
agnostic. Gnosis, which is knowledge.
a Gnostic.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay, gotcha. And okay, so this was a thing that Christianity had to wrestle with in
Yeah.
2 and 300 AD, and that was the idea that the body and the soul were separate. And
The divine spark. Yeah.
we actually, yeah, right. And so in Christianity, this was put to rest then, but it's actually come back. It's come back in a way that people don't really know how to articulate this, but they are one. And in the Christian world, it was an important thing because the question was Jesus God? And if he was he just a body with a spirit? Was he body and spirit? Was he 100% man and 100% God, right? And so to separate the two would actually be making Jesus something less than he actually was, which was God and man, or at least in my belief,
Mm.
that's what the Bible teaches us, right? And so that said, what I've learned in my faith, and it didn't start with this. I had to make a decision with my disease whether it was better to keep on living or to go ahead and die. That's really what I had to decide because it was painful and difficult and depressing. And when you wrestle with things like that, eventually you come to the end of your rope. And so I had to decide, do I want to live or would it be better not to? And it was coming to terms with that really taught me that faith had a place in my life, and it was very important because I wouldn't be here without it.
Yeah. We.
And so, in working that out, yeah, to your point, if the body and soul are separate things, then exercise is a waste of my time because I got other more spiritual things to do. Why do I need biceps? and and in Christianity, and that's real. That's real. And in Christianity, our understanding of the body is very elementary.
It
The
is. Yeah.
church at large, I would say, has a very shallow understanding of the body and has let that vanity of influence in culture influence it. But what I would challenge that with is there are sins in fitness. If you'll pardon the faith word, sin just means things you do wrong that have ultimate consequences. There are sins in fitness. On one end of the spectrum is gluttony and sloth. Gluttony is I eat for my own pleasure. I'm never satisfied. I'm always trying to take something in to make me feel good, right? You have a little baby right now. Sometimes the only way to get her to stop crying is to feed her something. It's built right
The
into
only
us,
way.
right?
Yeah.
The only way. But as an adult, That's a terrible way to handle your emotions. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm mad. I should eat pizza. Like, that's a terrible way to handle your emotions. That's not very mature at all, right? And so that's gluttony. And then sloth is I desire comfort. I'm unwilling to go be uncomfortable, which is a sin, because how are you going to learn? How are you going to grow? Like, to do a podcast, I'm sure your first podcast was terrible. Mine was too. So how am I ever going to
It was
become a
pretty
podcaster
okay,
if I'm
actually.
not willing? It was pretty okay. Oh, well, that's nice of you. Wait. We'll talk about pride in a second. I'm just kidding. So there's gluttony and sloth on one end, right? And those, in my mind, those are sins of fitness. Those are things that keep us from making the most out of the body we have. And on the other end of the spectrum are the other extremes. This is pride and envy. This is looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger and going, I need to have that body. Like, that's the envy part, right? Or pride. I want to look good naked, because that would make me way more confident all the time about everything, right? And that's pride too. These are vanity. These are things that'll pass away. I mean, one day your body will be food for worms, right? So these things don't have an ultimate purpose. But in the middle of that road is stewardship. It's the attitude of saying, God's given me this body. It's the only one I got. And I would like to make the most out of it. That would be faithful to Him. That would be faithful to my family. And someday I might need to use it for stuff that if I didn't take care of it, I can't use it for those things. And that's on me. So that's stewardship. Stewardship is what removes vanity from fitness. And for me, that was something I had to come to in my life. And that was something that kept me from going down a path in my heart and my mind where I'd much rather just not be here to deal with the difficulty.
You made the correct choice. You're here. We're doing this podcast. Otherwise, we're not going to be here. But Coach Alex VanHouten, thank you very much for being a part of this podcast. It was a pleasure. We laughed. We were serious. We talked about different subjects. We talked about religion, and I hope I see you again. Let's do this again sometimes.
Same. Would love it, man. Appreciate your time and keep up the good work as a dad. It's not easy,
Cheers.
but it's worth it.
Cheers.